Yeah, so what are we doing today?
We're gonna do some Carchaeology on the Toyota Crown.
Carchaeology.
Yeah. It's the video on the Crown was like my most popular video on the YouTube channel. So I mean, and there aren't very many videos on YouTube about the Toyota Crown, like period.
Well, you just got it fairly recently.
No, I mean like about any Toyota Crown. Like there's hardly any Toyota Crown videos on YouTube. I mean they're even uncommon in Japan. There's just from this generation there's just not really anything out there. So I figured I would do a video where I just kind of talk about the car and show off all the shit I found inside of it. You have no idea how glad I was to find these inside the car.
Oh.
And this actually puts to bed me wondering once and for all whether this thing is the 2.6 liter or the 2.3 liter. It was offered as a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder in Japan, but in export markets like Europe and the US, it was offered, it's either a 2.3 liter straight six or a 2.6 liter straight six, and it was either offered with a 3-speed automatic, a 4-speed manual, a 3-speed manual, or a 5-speed manual. The 3 and 5-speed manuals were only available in Japan apparently, and in North America we only had to choose between the 4-speed manual and the 3-speed automatic. And thankfully this is not the 3-speed automatic. So like these would have been impossible to find, and I don't know if the previous owner removed them or if they fell off, but considering that he has all the nuts and bolts, I have to imagine they've been removed rather than that they fell off. But finding these would have been pretty much impossible. Finding any parts for this car has been really tough, so...
Why do you think he removed them?
I have no idea. I mean, oh yeah, that's another thing. This is a one-owner car. And this is all just crap I found. I guess he was at one point planning on installing a tack, thermostat, compass. So I guess it was owned by an older guy. Yeah, one owner. The guy bought it new in 1972, and he had it until last year. Oh shit! This is the whatever this is. Maybe these were for. I have no idea what that was for. Here's a manual for the radio. Jesus.
This one's just completely in Japanese. Right?
Yeah, there's no English in that at all. And then this is the French and English Toyota service booklet. I've already actually looked through this one, but there's no information in here at all specific to this model. They must have just given these out with pretty much every Toyota. Yeah, it's a super old timing light. A battery tester. Pretty gross multimeter. Are these shock absorbers? Holy shit, no way! Oh my god. Oh, dude. Holy Christ, shock absorbers.
What do they do?
They're the, I guess, bags of hardware. Shit, yeah, the struts under here. So, it's my understanding he bought the car new in 1973, drove around a lot. Odd thing about this car, I guess this is a bearing. Odd thing about this car is it's got a trailer hitch on it. It was the guy's daily driver. Yep, brand new old stock Toyota bearing. Jesus. And then at some point, I think this, I never actually talked to the guy who used to own the car. His nephew sold it to me when he was being moved to a nursing home, but the rocker panels rusted through, and he couldn't keep driving it anymore. So in about 1985 or 1987, the details are a little fuzzy. No idea what that is. It's probably a bearing or something. 1985 or 1987, here's another brand new one. He took it off the road and just left it in his garage because the rust was so bad and it needed a lot of work. No idea what that is. Choke adapter, I guess. Altimeter. Another shock absorber. Too bad there's only 2 shock absorbers. I was hoping there'd be 4 in here. but 2 is better than 0. Holy hell. That's awesome. But yeah, it was taken off the road in 1987, and it basically just sat, didn't run for a number of years. A lot of this stuff isn't specific to the Toyota Crown. It's just stuff you would have got at Canadian Tire back in the 80s or late 70s.
We're at the trunk now.
More weather stripping. Very old battery, which is consistent with this thing not having been driven since the 80s. Car engine gasket. I'm guessing this says no bend. What kind of gasket? That looks like a valve cover gasket. That's not a head gasket. That looks like a valve cover gasket. Huh. And then there's a fishing rod in here too. And some floor mats. It's definitely missing a cylinder. And also, I think we've got an exhaust leak too.
Yeah, you can smell
But yeah,
it.
if you listen, like the engine's got a kick to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's missing a beat, and if you come around here, like I'm only getting like it's missing, like it's coughing on one of them.
Yeah.
Also, when I let it run for a few minutes, then it sputters out and dies.
Yeah.
So if you don't stay on the gas when you start it, if you don't stay on the gas after it's been running for a little while, then it idles too low and chokes out. But yeah, so here's what we got. What we got to do. God damn it. Alright. So. Toyota Crown. We got to, step 1, most important thing, put sticker on car. That's the number 1 most important thing you can do when you have a project car. Number 2, fix clutch line. Number 3, brake pads, rotors. Number 4, oh yeah, sway bar links. They are undone. Link, ball joints. Probably gonna need brake lines and drums. What else do we need? This is focusing on the negatives. Let's focus on the positives. I put the Subaru battery in it because the Subaru got a new battery, so now it starts. And also I put different tires on it, and even though one of them sells a slow leak because the rims are really rusty, it takes a week to leak out, not 2 hours. So the car, we can move it to the road and work on other cars in here. We can move stuff around, so that's good. It's got oil, it's got plugs, it's got all that other stuff. So that's the good. But as far as the bad, I mean, and then bodywork, V8 swap. That's the itinerary. This is going to take me 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got it.
Yeah, I got this. Everything's fine. As soon as I got this thing running, of course, the clutch line blew. So the pedal goes right to the floor. There's no back pressure. And of course, it's not a cable clutch. It's a hydraulic clutch. So basically, this master cylinder here, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. This is just a reservoir for it. The actual master cylinder is under the hood hinge here. We're probably going to have to take if we end up having to replace the clutch master cylinder, we're probably going to take the hood hinge off. This is the master cylinder right in here. And then the line comes out the bottom, does a loop, goes over, that's it there, goes behind the brake, between the firewall and the brake booster, comes through here, turns into a rubber hose. The rubber hose then goes down. Oh, Jesus, you can't even fucking see it. Down into there. Yeah, there you can see it. Down into the beside the transmission, it pushes on the little slave cylinder, and the slave cylinder pushes that little lever. Now, I don't know where the leak's coming from yet, and I hope that the leak isn't coming from the line somewhere, because that line, to replace that line, we're probably going to need to take the hood off, take the hood hinge off, undo the brake lines, take the brake master cylinder off, take the brake booster off, just to fucking get to everything. I'm hoping that the problem is the slave cylinder, because then I can just crawl underneath the car and it's a mess under there. The subframe's right in the way, but it'll be easier to just change the slave cylinder than to run a whole new line. But we won't know until we put fluid in there, bleed it, and then see where the fluid is leaking out from, because I don't know where the leak is yet. Both the slave cylinder, if you look, the bleed nut's rounded off. So I need a new slave cylinder. But also, unluckily, the line is damaged at the very bottom. It's been corroded, and you can tell so it needs a new line. But luckily, instead of having to take all this shit apart, instead of a single line going from the slave cylinder and over to the master cylinder, the slave cylinder, it stops. There's a brief section of hose. So this can all stay in put because that's not corroded. I mean, eventually I'll need to change the slave cylinder because you can see it's a piece of garbage. Sure. Whoops. But this hose here means that I can just unbolt this, replace that one section of hose and the slave cylinder, and then leave this crap where it is. So my day just got a whole lot fucking better. Alright. We got the line out in one piece, which means that I can make a new one following the old template. And that'll probably make my life a lot easier. You can't really see it from here, but the whole line is twisted around inside the fitting. This is the bottom that goes into the slave cylinder, and this is the top that goes into this hose. The hose and this I think are still okay, but if I make a new one of these and find somehow a new slave cylinder, then this thing, we should be able to drive it up and down the street. We won't have brakes, but we do have a manual transmission, which means we can make it run around the block just fine. But yeah, it's still a long away from a safety, but I mean like 5 years. I mean, a long time. But it'll at least be driving down the street soon.